Greetings everyone, and thank you for joining us today. What an important milestone, the opportunity to launch a brand new series of engines. We like to launch new trucks, but the engine is the heartbeat of a truck. It's what customers look for innovation, efficiency, and reliability. Built on an incredible history, nearly 90 years in this plant. We didn't start over completely, we built on a successful platform. Yes, we're meeting the 2027 emissions standards and we're ready for that, but we're bringing more value to our customers, adding to it for the next generation of diesel engines. And now, the moment that you've all been waiting for, I present to you the Detroit Gen 6 series of engines. And I'd like to turn it over to Greg Brzezinski, Head of Powertrain Engineering, to give us more information about this incredible engine.
Thank you, David. We truly have an amazing engine here, and I'm excited to walk you through the improvements that we've made to optimize efficiency, performance, and reliability. Starting with our new fuel system. So we've changed the high pressure pump to an oil lubricated system, as well as a simplified common rail injector that operates at 2,500 bar. And really that brings improved efficiency and improved reliability, especially when you get some market fuel that may not be of the highest quality. We've also improved the oil circuit with this new product. Really going to a controlled oil pump that optimizes oil flow when you need it and also lowers oil flow when you don't need it, thereby improving the efficiency of the system. We've also changed the combustion package. So we've changed the intake camshaft, moving to the Miller cycle. We've also changed the injection timing as well as the compression ratio, increasing it, again, really trying to drive every bit of efficiency out of this product. So transitioning over to the hot side of the engine, I'll talk a little bit about our proprietary asymmetric turbocharger technology, where we've optimized the turbo for different EGR flow, really to help meet the stringent EPA 27 emission legislation. We also made changes to the EGR cooler and the mounting design for robustness and reliability, and we've actually pulled those ahead to our Generation 5 engine platform. I talked earlier about the oil circuit. There's one component in the oil circuit, the oil separator, that we've actually moved from oil driven to electronically driven, and we've done that really to reduce overall oil flow such that we could control the oil pump to lower speeds, thereby improving efficiency as well. We've also brought over our thermal control valve, which we've had on the DD13 Gen 5 engine for almost 5 years. We did it on that engine for improved regeneration performance, especially in vocational applications. And we brought it on Gen 6 to improve after-treatment temperatures, especially early in the drive cycle, really to get conversion efficiency up in the SCR. And speaking of the after-treatment system, you'll see that it looks a lot like what our customers are already utilizing today, using our existing one-box after-treatment system and adding the pre-SCR. And it fits in virtually the same packaging space as our systems today. So if it works for you today in any application, it'll work for you in this system as well. We put the pre-SCR first in the exhaust flow, and that's really to raise the temperatures quickly so we can get high NOx conversion efficiency early in the drive cycle. And with that, we'll transition to a discussion with my colleagues where we'll talk more about this Generation 6 development journey.
Thank you, Greg. These are really exciting news. And now I'm excited to dive a little bit deeper into the journey and the details of this technology. I'm joined by Greg Brzezinski, Head of Powertrain Engineering, Greg Treinen, VP of On-Highway Market Development, and Steve Collins, Director of Field Sales Engineering, Detroit. So starting with you, Greg, tell us a little bit more about the journey and how does it feel to develop such a new engine?
You know, Joanna, developing a new engine is a very complex and challenging task. But luckily, we weren't starting from scratch, right? We had over 20 years and 5 previous engine generations to build on. And we really took that to optimize the reliability, durability, and efficiency of this product.
And to follow on that question, Greg, Steve, how did you approach this from a customer or market perspective?
Ultimately, we've got a pretty amazing solution when it comes to developing a product and having a product that meets a really challenging emissions challenge. But at the end of the day, we have to deliver a product that really delivers a lot of value to our customers, right? So that's why we work really closely with our customers and really try to understand what they need in their products and how they utilize them. So besides the emissions challenges, we've also designed into this engine things like further downspeeding capabilities with some greater torque engine power ratings. That greater downspeeding really allows us to use faster rear axle ratios. Fleets can utilize the increased fuel efficiency out of that. And on the vocational side of the house, when thinking about customer concerns, we're actually bringing over things like the thermal control valve from the Gen 5 DD13, which has been a huge success for vocational customers in those applications. So we're bringing that into the DD15 and the DD16 as well for Gen 6. And ultimately, that has allowed us to greatly reduce, or in some cases, even completely eliminate the need for parked regens. So again, we're kind of balancing, obviously we have a huge technical challenge when it comes to emissions, but we also got to deliver value for our customers, and I think we're all really excited about what we've done there.
Yeah, and Steve, that's a great point in terms of the whole development process for this engine. You know, not just about meeting the regulation. Of course, we're trying to do that, but we're also trying to design an engine that really meets the needs for our customers. And you mentioned getting their feedback. You know, working on the on-highway side of the business, we just launched the 5th generation Cascadia, and we've talked a lot about the customer feedback that went into that. Same thing with this next generation of Detroit engines as well.
So I can imagine developing a new engine platform also brings a lot of challenges. Interesting to hear from all of you, what were some of the challenges that you were experiencing in your area of expertise?
Yeah, you know, for me, Joanna, really balancing all of the customer requirements together with the legislative requirements, while really meeting the reliability and durability requirements that customers have known about the Detroit powertrain, and really finding the balance between all of those was the hardest thing for me.
Well, and just to kind of to build off of what Greg said, I think one of the biggest challenges was the trying to come up with a decision on our after-treatment path, you know, and we ultimately chose pre-SCR. So we were really looking to mitigate the impact on our customers and wanting to find a solution that was, you know, minimizing the initial cost impact without sacrificing efficiency, performance, or durability. We were able to choose that pre-SCR path and locate the pre-SCR system close to the exhaust outlet from the engine to really generate the high temperatures that we need to process the NOx to get to the emission level that we needed to meet the emission regulation requirement.
Like in past generations, we always take the opportunity with an emissions change to also provide, you know, technology improvements, performance, reliability. Curious to hear kind of like what are your favorite changes that we've made to the engine, to the after treatment system, or just the whole package as a whole?
Yeah, well, I'll jump in here. Joanna, I just talked a little bit about the after treatment system, and I would say that's probably my favorite of the updates. And speaking from a former vocationally focused person, I've spent a lot of my career in the vocational world, and I think what we were able to do from minimizing the impact on the frame rail space with the after treatment system, no impact back of cab, is really, really important for vocational customers and for truck equipment manufacturers as they look to integrate their body equipment on our vocational truck models. And so if you're building on a Freightliner or Western Star product today with the Detroit engine, you're going to be able to continue doing that with the Gen 6 engine as we head into 2027.
Steve, from your perspective, what are you excited about to tell your customers?
Yeah, I think for me that the after treatment really is kind of the star of the show, but it's important to remember that we wouldn't have been able to design that after treatment the way it is with the known proven technology and the simple design unless we didn't already make some efficiency changes upstream to the entire system, right? So for me, I think if I could pick one thing, it'd be the fuel system and specifically the oil lubricated high pressure fuel pump. One that enables the higher pressure on the rail, it enables the simple non-amplified injectors, and ultimately it is a little bit more efficient in and of itself, and it has a little bit more robustness quality to it being oil lubricated instead of fuel lubricated. So that would probably be my pick outside of the after treatment system.
Greg Brazunas.
Yeah, I would probably pick the thermal control valve. right? We already touched on it, how great that's been for our vocational customers, really eliminating the need for a parked regen. And our engineers have really utilized that in order to increase temperatures in the aftertreatment system, that pre-SCR that Greg's gotten into, that really helps us for maintaining really high NOx conversion efficiency, really to meet that stringent emission legislation, really in a way that's really transparent to our customers.
So now I'm pretty sure everyone wants to know, when will these engines be available?
That's a great question, Joanna. I'll take that one. So we'll start taking orders for the Gen 6 engines as we get late into Q3, so when we open up our order board for 2027. So really, really excited for everyone to go talk to your dealers about speccing and getting ready to place those orders as we get into the September timeframe for this year. So I also want to mention the fact that we have a number of events going on throughout the year as we get into the spring and summer, whether virtually or in person, to make sure our customers are prepared as we head into 2027. So we have a number of education events, ride and drives, so you get to experience our Freightliner and Western Star product with the Gen 6 engine. So really, really excited to see you at those events later this year.
So in the end, our customers at the center of everything we do. If there was one thing you wanted them to remember, what would that be?
You know, Detroit Powertrain has been your technology partner for 5 generations, and we're really excited to do it again in the 6th generation.
Yeah, for me, I think we have the best-in-class product, but remember, we also have best-in-class people that are there to support our customers all throughout this journey and to be there to help get them get the most out of this product.
Well, thanks everybody for sharing your insights and your journey. Thanks everyone for joining our launch event today. You heard you can go talk to your dealer or your sales representative to learn how you can take advantage of the benefits of our new Gen 6 engine platform and how to smoothly transition into 2027.